The in-league championship. Just a general topic, man. I want to ask you, when are we gonna give the in-league championship the same cachet as you would give, and of course, I'm making this for the Braun fans, the same cachet as a regular 7-game series playoff championship? Can it ever get that same respect?
I don't think so, man, because that Larry O.B., that's the only trophy that really matters, man, in season, playing tournaments, you got all these things to kind of increase viewership, and, you gotta remember the NBA signed a big deal, man, as far as getting a product internationally, locally, regionally, with local TV providers, so I get the NBA trying to add different things, I heard it's gonna be Europeans versus USA in the All-Star game, so they're trying to do these things, but I don't know if the in-season tournament will ever be on the level of Larry O'Brien Trophy. Now, as a Laker fan, we won the first one ever, so I can't front. It felt good for those bragging rights as a fan, but I don't know if the players really care. They care about that money though. So if I'm the 15th guy on the bench, yeah, I want my little money, man. What is it, 500K?
Yeah.
So I want my 5K, man. If I'm on that vet minimum getting 1.5, 2.5, 5K, that's a nice day. But from a credibility standpoint, I don't know if it's gonna be that credible in the next few years. Maybe as the competition increases, I mean, it gotta be buzzer beaters, it gotta be Dame Lillard walk-offs and waving, it gotta be a lot of theatrics, I think, for people to get really excited about it. But sometimes them courts are confusing though, like, it's a lot going on with the courts for the in-season tournament. So who do we talk to about that?
That's true. But well, we may have to have a conversation with Adam Silver. That's the only way that's going to work. But let's stay on the hardwood, holding the court with Prince. The four position. You know how much we love the four position. Rasheed Wallace, Dirk Nowitzki, Charles Barkley. Has this position died, Prince? Because when we really look at the fours now, other than Giannis, is there a four that we can say in the game? Because I mean, you sat down with Lamar Odom. That's another story in itself. But you know about the four position. Is the fours dead in the NBA basketball now?
It's tough, man, because you got, like, bigs, like, look at a Queen from the Pelicans. He nice, man. He got that in-between kinda game. So I think the four-man is kinda going to, like, a Julius Randle iteration of the four, where it's really like a three. I think the four-man is really an extended three-man. He still has to be able to guard multiple positions, so the requirement of what a three-man is asked to do on defense, the four-man kinda gotta do it too, right? So depending on matchups, you look at somebody like a Paul George who is tall, but who's essentially a guard. He plays the four in certain matchups. KD's playing a lot of four. Braun is playing a lot of four. So I think the four now is a position where you put your one of your best players in to get the offensive advantage, man, whether it's the height advantage, athleticism advantage, but it's definitely dying out, but the big man is coming back now. You got a lot of prominent big men, Sengun, obviously Joker, Edie, Zubac, the five man, there's a lot of great five men coming up. Where remember the four man was the focal point with the stretch four came in. Now I think the five man is getting that love now. So it's hard to gauge, man. The game is ever changing, even the point guard position, it's more of a combo style guard type position now, like a Kyrie, Dame Lillard, the traditional Rondos, it's gone, man. I think the same thing's happening with the power forward. It's an extension of the small forward now, in my opinion.
Okay, okay. Listen, we got to talk about it. It's very important how we have to have this conversation. Chris Paul versus Ty Lue. I don't know if you've seen the off the field, I mean the off the court, where it was like F Ty Lue. They were saying all these things, and not Ty Lue, I'm sorry, FCP. That's what Ty Lue said at practice, things of that nature. Is this the way that we send off the point guard, CP?
No, it's not the way you deal with, like, a legend. First of all, before I even get into what I'm saying, CP3 is a first ballot Hall of Famer. He's one of the great point guards to ever grace he's at least top 5, top 10 if you're a hater, but he's definitely top 5, you can't take nothing away from him, but as a former athlete, I play with tough personalities in the locker room. What do I mean by tough personalities? I mean somebody who could be deemed a coach's pet, deemed doing too much, deemed you just can't shut up. You know the guy who y'all wanna go home and he's still talking, he's still trying to coach, which we appreciate. Me, I never had issues with Chris Paul types because 'cause I'm a competitor. You know how disciplined I am, so I'm not that doesn't bother me or throw me off my game, but some people, you can't talk to them a certain way. You know, I might look at you, Bart, and be like, "Hey, man, you didn't see that back screen." And then I could go to my other boy and say, "Hey, bro, tighten up." I could scream at you. So you gotta know how to, especially me being a parent, I can't talk to both of my kids the same way. My oldest, CJ, she's a G. She like me. My youngest, he's a little more sensitive at the moment. He's 4. You know what I mean? So I think Chris Paul doesn't know the different to differentiate who he's speaking to. Now, if you go to a situation where let's be real, nobody wanted to sign him. The Clippers looked at it as a good PR move. Imma get a former Clipper here that we kinda did dirty the first time, right? Bring him back in the fold. You know, I thought it was suspicious when CP3 announced his, retirement, like that it's gonna be his last season. I think he saw the writing on the wall, whether it be an argument, whatever went down, for him to make that announcement. But it was, like, not even 10, 12 games in the season, and he made that announcement, right?
Mhm.
So Chris Paul's a lot, man. You know, I think in addition to him being a great point guard, you hear about the other stuff too about him being phony, him being fake. I don't know him personally. I don't we don't get caught up in gossip on this show, but it's a lot to be said, man, for a organization as bad as the Clippers is to even just send you home to disrespect you like that. It got to be what more than we see. It doesn't happen without James Harden, Kawhi Leonard, Ty Lue signing off. They can act like, oh, I didn't know what was going on. There's no way that happens. You know, James Harden and CP had a relationship. I don't know how strong it is at present day, but they did him dirty. But I'm not surprised if that makes sense.
So let's talk about the in game championship. We got Orlando and Miami. We got Toronto and New York. We got OKC and Phoenix. And we got the LA Lakers and the Spurs. Who's the favorite, Prince, to bring the championship home?
I mean, my fandom wants me to say the Lakers, man. You know, Braun doing his thing. Braun is averaging 8 points a game. You know, I wanna say the Lakers, man, but OKC just looks tough, man. They just won by 30 points without SGA. 30 points. They I mean, they're the team to beat. You know what they say, you gotta dethrone the champ, just in real life too. But as far as the in season, I think it's anybody's game. Toronto's playing really good basketball, surprisingly. The Spurs still look good. I don't think they hit their stride yet, but I think the Lakers are the hottest team in the league outside of, obviously, OKC. So, if I had to pick, I might go, "Man, you know what? Lakers gonna win it, man. What we talking about? Lakers got this." I don't even know why you playing. Lakers.
Listen, since we talking Lakers, let's talk Christmas real quick. I want to unlock some Jay Prince nostalgia. What's your greatest Christmas moment, Prince?
You talking about basketball-wise, or what are we talking.
Period, man. Period. I mean, if you ask me, I'm gonna tell you the Ninja Turtles pajamas I got.
Man, this might sound crazy. It's how you know. I remember being younger and getting "Come Fly With Me," that Michael Jordan tape when I was younger, bro. So, if people don't know, I'm a Jordan guy. I'm a Kobe guy, obviously, but Jordan is that's Yoda, you know what I mean? So, I remember just getting that "Come Fly With Me" tape, and I think one time my grandma and my aunt, they all put bread together to get me them Jordans. I think Jordan 5s. I had the red and white 5s when I was a jit. So Jordan always been a staple for me, like around Christmas time, getting little, whether it's trading cards or whatever the case may be. So I'm not just talking for the internet. Jordan really is my guy. Barty know that. But
No, 100%, y'all. Y'all understand something? This Jordan LeBron debate has been going on since high school. Even when LeBron was coming up, me and Prince would debate this. I mean, Prince thought I was crazy from when I first seen LeBron play when he was in Akron in high school. I thought he was going to be the real deal, and Prince would always say, "Don't forget about Michael Jeffrey." So, that's how it goes. But let's
what
stay where
hold
where
on.
I
Let me
like to.
hold on. Though you're not getting away that fast, man. Let's get into some Barty report talk, man. You know, It's a lot going on in the NFL, man. You know, what they say, what goes up must come down. So let's get into Danny Dimes, Daniel Jones, man. It, it's unfortunate, man. You know, Danny Dimes is having a great season to start. You know, they started off with 7-0, and you know, they hit a wall the last two, like 3, 4 weeks now, you know. And obviously Danny Dimes goes down with the injury, the Achilles injury. What does that do for the Colts? Were they a Danny Dimes team? Was it Danny Dimes team? Was it Jonathan Taylor team? Was it a collective of both of them? Where did the Colts go from here? And are they trick or treat in your pop's voice?
You know what? Danny Dimes going down gives the New England Patriots, no, sorry, not gives the Kansas City Chiefs a chance at making the 7th spot. I think people are so looking at Jonathan Taylor that they don't realize that it was a match made in heaven, that they both complemented each other. Danny Dimes complimented Jonathan Taylor complimented Danny Dimes. When you take an ingredient out of mac and cheese, it doesn't taste the same. When you take that Scotch bonnet pepper out of that jerk's chicken, it's not Jamaican jerk's chicken. Them losing Danny Dimes is a big deal. I feel for Shane Steichen, the coaching staff. I feel for Tyler Warren, who could be the offensive rookie of the year. I feel for that defense getting Sauce Garner. But I would not be surprised if the Indianapolis Colts drop out. The fact that the Chargers won, they still have a chance. They're in control of their destiny. So we may see 3 teams from the AFC West make the playoffs. But you asked me a question, and so I pose this question to you. You know I'm annoyed. I'm upset. I'm hurt. The same way you hurt for your Lakers is how I hurt for my Eagles. Right now, I'm shelling myself on the outside. I'm Prince and Barty on the inside. I'm a crying baby. We see our teams are not doing well right now. But the thing that we see, we've never seen this before. There is a chance that both teams from the Super Bowl could possibly miss the playoffs. And if that does happen, what does that say about the NFL where we say not for long? That, you know, one year you can be up here, another year you can be at the bottom. Patty's not looking like Patty. Jalen had a 5 turnover game on a night where Saquon looked like old Saquon. The defense looked good. Patty's losing left and right. He can't beat anybody. He has to play the Chargers next. Like, what are we looking at as far as the parity of the National Football League?
You said it. That's the word, parity, because it's any man can win now, you know. And I think for me, obviously we know I'm a big NBA fan. That's my stuff right there. But that's what I love about football. You know, it's unpredictable. NBA, you can kind of one or two players can kind of dictate the game, the pace, and the outcome. Let's be honest. You know, LeBron's been doing it for years. Kobe's done it. Jordan's done it. The greats know how to manipulate the game to their favor. You can't do that in football, right? As great as Tom Brady was, he played offense. As great as Dion was, he played defense. He played offense at times too, but you get what I mean, where you could have a great drive and your defense blows it. They get hit with a Hail Mary, you know. And I think that's what makes football the greatest sitcom in the world, because you don't know what's gonna happen, right? Jaden Daniels, all world last year. Now he got the injury bug. Is he the new RG3? Should he just be a passing quarterback? Should he stop running? Lamar, like look at all the storylines throughout the league. It's parity, man. I think people are getting better. I think game plans are getting stronger. One of my friends said something funny yesterday. He said, people figured Andy Reid out. And I know you've been alluding to that for some years now, too, where Andy Reid was the smartest guy in the room, bro, for centuries, for decades. The McVays were smart. I think all the smart guys, there's other smart guys in the room now. You know, the same game plans, same personnel. There's no secrets in the NFL anymore. And, you know, once they watch that tape on you, it's over with. I think the Eagles are more primed to bounce back as far as kind of what you guys done as far as picks and things like that. The Chiefs, I don't know. You're gonna have to get a new tight end. I think Kelsey's done. I think Kelsey's done. You know, Patty's offensive line is not good. It's almost like Kansas City needs to follow what Eagles are doing now as far as the personnel and how they're protecting the quarterback. Patty with no offensive line, man, that's you're not winning nothing, bro. You saw it in the Super Bowl against Tom Brady. As great as Patty is, you're going to be throwing forced picks. You're going to be under pressure, under duress, and here we go, man. So, like you said, it might be a Matt Stafford sweep. Matt Stafford might win the MVP in the title. Who knows? You know what I mean? It's one of those things where I picked Matt Stafford to win the MVP, but I didn't know it was gonna go like this. I'm gonna be honest. But
I
let,
agree with you.
let me ask you this though. So Jalen Hurts is interesting to me for multiple reasons, right? He's a stoic guy, very quiet. He doesn't explain himself, good or bad. And I kind of respect that about him. But the knock on him from whether it be Cam, whatever in the media, that he can't really throw, right? And then the other arguments like, oh, but he's one of the highest percentage in history, blah, 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 right? So now in a position where he has to throw, and the game last night, he throws 4 picks and 1 turnover, as you told me this morning. Y'all should have heard Barty this morning. He was going through it. What does that do for his narrative? Does last night's game, he's a champion, Super Bowl MVP with Jordan. His life is amazing. We just talking because we got a show. Did last night's performance help or hurt his narrative as far as that's why he don't pass and blah, 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 blah?
I think for him, right now, he's in the narrative of a Jim McMahon, Terry Bradshaw, Troy Aikman, meaning that you won with a Hall of Fame team, but you haven't necessarily proven that you're the guy. Now, if he can turn this season around and become the guy, then we could put him in the class of a Brady, Manning, and Mahomes. Because the way the team has been playing, they need more from Jalen Hurts. Now, in honesty, I give him a little bit bail money because of the offensive coordinators. I give him bail money, of course, because of the 50-50 balls. You're asking him to throw to a receiver who only runs about 3 routes, 50-50 balls. So that's where he gets bail money. But at the end of the day, he still can't get enough bail money because right now you're inconsistent. You went to a Super Bowl and then you had the letdown the year after. Then you win a Super Bowl, and now you're having a letdown after. Patty was consistency. Brady was consistency. Manning was consistency. Elway was consistency. We're not seeing the level of consistency with Jalen. So he's in the predicament of maybe you're Jim McMahon. Maybe you're Terry Bradshaw. You're in that category. Now, can you escape it? We'll see. But speaking of that, I want to talk about something. We haven't had a chance to talk about this, but we need to talk about dual threat quarterbacks. Dual threat quarterbacks. Michael Vick, Donovan McNabb, Cam Newton, Jalen Hurts, Patrick Mahomes, Lamar Jackson. But you're hearing this from Barty, the greatest dual threat quarterback I've ever seen in the history of the game, Josh Allen. Josh Allen is that guy. You got Keon Coleman at receiver. You got Khalil Shakur at receiver. You brought Gabe Davis back. You do not have a clear-cut number one. Your best receiver is Dalton Kincaid, excuse me. And you're doing what you're doing at 9-4. Is it time for us? We have quarterbacks that will probably never win the big game, but they were a Warren Moon. They were a Randall Cunningham. They were a lifetime achievement quarterback that they did things that we just never saw. We saw him run for a 40-yard touchdown on the Bengals. I mean, I think Josh does not get the love just deserved. Bills fans don't know what they have. The NFL doesn't know what he has. He gives back to the community, loving guy. A little off the field story. I knew someone who cleaned his house and cleaned his car for him. They did their cleaning service company, and he gave them $1,000 tip. This is who Josh Allen is, a good, healthy, clean guy. He loves his wife, even though you got that little story with what happened with your boy. We're not even gonna go there, Prince, but we're just keeping it real, man. I just want to give this guy his flowers because he passed Cam Newton, and in my mind, I'm like, yo, Why does Josh always take that hit? I know you went up against Patty, but Manning went up against Brady. You know, certain people went up against Joe Montana. Certain people went up against John Elway. You're gonna go up against the pinnacle, the Michael Jordan. You're gonna go up against the LeBron James. There's going to be somebody who meets you at the mountaintop and kicks you off the mountain every time. But that does not diminish what this man has done for the dual quarterback position. Let me have it, man. How you feel about Josh?
Let's start from the top. I think it's undeniable, right? What he had 2 he had 2 3 passing touchdowns, 3 rushing touchdowns games. He's the only person to ever do that in history, right? So just our history will tell us Mike Vick is probably one of the fanciest or prettiest runners we've seen, you know, Randall Cunningham, you know, Lamar, like you said, all these people. But we got to remember, Josh is my height. Josh is 6'5", 250. So he's not Lamar, he's not elusive like those guys. He's a freight train running at you, playing at a high level. When I think of Josh Allen, he puts me in the mind of Joker. And why I say that is the numbers are so gaudy. Because if you just see the numbers, you'd be like, oh, this dude stat padding. He's just worried about his stats, right? But that's not the case. He's playing hero ball because it's needed. And that hero ball is getting him wins, right? Because remember, early in his career, what was the knock? He was playing hero ball, going for the big play instead of the dink and dunk. He's changed his game. He's come back, worked on his throwing accuracy. He's a complete quarterback now. And like I've been on record saying, when it comes to like Patty's Tom Brady's a GOAT. Patty's my Kobe. I think Patty's one of the best players to ever touch a football, just how he approaches the game, his mindset. But some of my favorite players, quarterback wise, you know, I'm a Matt Stafford fan, and Josh Allen be my other quarterback. I think they approach the game with professionalism, bro. They're just tough. You don't hear Josh. Think about. I'm gonna give Josh Allen this. Remember with the Stephon Diggs stuff when Stephon Diggs was there. A lot of these quarterbacks have to deal with divas. The man never talked nothing bad about Stephon Diggs. Think about that. He had all right to get on that camera and be petty. I'm Josh Allen. The man always gives people grace, even when they talk trash to him. That's a level of professionalism that you can't teach. I don't know if that's his parents, but I like Josh Allen. I think what I will put caution to is you don't want to see hero ball all the time as he keeps growing in his career. That leads to injuries, that leads to a lot of different things. So, yes, it's impressive to see him win without true talent, but at some point you got to get this man what he needs because he doesn't have a T. Higgins. He don't have a Jamar Chase. He don't have a Worthy. He don't have all these people that his peers have, and he's almost doing more with less. But we know doing more with less don't get you no prize unless you win that Super Bowl, which Patty has, Jalen Hurts has. Him, Lamar, and Joe are on the outside looking in. You know, the stats are beautiful, but he's going to have to get his Dirk Nowitzki championship. He's going to have to get his Joker championship, his Aaron Rodgers one championship for a historic organization, for him to really get that stamp. The stats got to match that stamp. He got to at least win one ring. He can't beat a Marino,
I agree with you.
you know?
Listen, man, we got to go back to the hardwood. You know, when I think of one of my favorite songs, it says chestnuts roasting on an open fire, Jack Frost nipping at your nose. We're gonna play a game, man. It's for Christmas Day, man. It's a cut five, keep three, all-time Lakers edition. All-time Lakers edition. You know, I gotta hit you with it. We're gonna test your knowledge as a Laker fan. All right, you ready? Let's go. Let's do it this way. So let's do it. You know, we got the Christmas Day coming up. The game is gonna be big time. The Lakers always play on Christmas, so we gotta play the game. So first name up, Glenn Rice. Cut. You cutting Glenn Rice.
Yeah,
Okay, okay. All
yeah.
right.
Salute to
Derek
John Rice,
Fisher.
though. I got to cut D-Fish.
You cutting D Fish.
Gotta
Okay,
cut
okay.
D-Fish.
Okay, okay. All right. The captain, Kareem Abdul Jabbar.
Let's keep our coach. You got to keep the captain.
Okay. Well, we know your second one you're gonna keep. We know you're gonna I got your second keep right here. We going with Bean.
100%.
Okay, okay. So you've cut Glenn, you've cut
Out of
Fisher,
there.
you kept Kobe, you kept
Great.
the captain, Shaquille O'Neal.
Imma say no because I gotta get Magic.
How do you know Magic is even in the
Okay, you right, that's me, I'm overdoing it. Okay, go ahead. Nah, Shaq, I'm good on Shaq.
you go cut Shaq. Okay, okay. LeBron, Ramon, James.
Imma have to cut him though. Imma have to cut him.
Oh, wow.
Imma have to cut
Okay,
him.
so you've cut D Fish, you've cut Glenn Rice, you've cut Shaq, you've cut LeBron. You only got two left. All right. Wilt, the Stilt, Chamberlain.
Imma cut him.
Man, oh man, boy. Let's look at all he's cut. He's cut one of the greatest centers of all time in Shaq, another great center in Wilt, LeBron, Fisher, and you cut Glenn Rice. So I guess you're keeping the logo, Jerry West.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm not listen, I'm not mad at that, even though Jerry only won 1 championship. Let's go through it real quick. Glenn Rice was with us for a small sample size, and
Uh-huh.
he wasn't a player he used to be. Glenn Rice is a Charlotte Hornet, Miami Heat legend. Glenn Rice, one of the greatest shooters ever. University of Michigan, one of my favorite players of all time. D. Fish, one of the greatest role players ever. Kobe's, shotgun pilot, man. Him and Kobe were demons on a defensive end. Salute to D. Fish, man. Shaq, I love you, but come on, man. Shaq, he was dominant, but I can't put him over Kareem. Kareem has what, 4 titles with the Lakers? He got 1 in Milwaukee. I think he has 5. No, I think he has 6. He has all 5 he has 5 with the Lakers, 1 with the Bucks. He got his 6 like Jordan, right? So I can't, he one of the greatest Lakers ever. I can't do him dirty. Bean, come on.
Hey, I knew you
And
was gonna keep Bane.
right, and logo is the logo. And Braun, man, Braun, that's the Cavs, man. Braun legacy, Braun play for, but we like Braun for the Cavs, man. That's where his statue should be. And Braun will tell you that. You know what I mean? So I don't think it's no disrespect. But what I want to talk to you about, man, Kevin Stefanski. They say you say it 3 times, it's like Candyman coming out, bro. Okay, I think he's in a weird position. This is why I say that, right? Dylan Gabriel is his guy. That's who he drafted. Joe Flacco was his guy. That There was a whole plan in place that didn't involve Shador Sanders, right? Obviously, Flacco's traded. Gabriel gets hurt. Shador comes in and balls out, right? Now, it's still weird though. He threw for 300 plus yards, all the touchdowns. You still take him out the last second. It's like they won't just give Shador the keys fully. It's like when you was a kid, you took your mom car. She gonna hold it in her hand. Hey, listen, you got to be back by 11. I feel like they still treating Shador like he a jit, bro. You have a terrible organization. The best PR for you right now is Myles Garrett getting that sack record and Shador Sanders selling jerseys. Let's call it what it is. Cleveland, take your win. Take your win, Cleveland. Stop. If you're going to fire Stefanski, fire him. You know what I mean? I know the GM is a Shador guy. The owner, I don't know where he stands right now, but I know them ticket sales is big since Shador became starters. I know them jersey sales is big. End of the day, we act like it's not about money. But if you're not winning no meaningful games and you got Myles Garrett and Shador Sanders, life is good, man. But what do you think about how they're playing with Shador? Why Stefanski's still employed? What do you think about it all?
Stefanski's painted himself into a corner where he's more than likely going to be fired by at the year's end. Shador's a winner. We can say whatever he wants, but he has some guys just have the intangible that they're a winner. And I mean, I was one of the people who was saying that this is crazy, but I was also against Shador because of all his off the field antics. But he's proving that this is who he is. You had 2 different quarterbacks in and you couldn't win. I mean, there is a buzz around the franchise. Everybody's playing better. People want to watch the Cleveland Browns play because you got Shador on one side, and on the other side, you have the great Myles Garrett. So it's a crazy scenario to have these two go back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. and then you take him out for a 2-point conversion, where if he probably was in, they would be in overtime right now. But he didn't do it. And I mean, the higher ups have announced earlier this week that he will be the starter for the rest of the season. Nobody else will get the starting job for the remaining 4 games. He will start. So you got to give him the credit. You got to give him the love. But at the end of the day, it's just going to be crazy looking at the situation.
Nah, I agree, man. They doing Shador dirty, man. They got to figure that situation out. But I wanted to talk to you about this real quick, man. You know, a bunch of legends are in college football right now coaching. When you look at Deion Sanders, right, and you look at Bill Belichick, both are struggling right now, right, in college football. Which one of them needs to leave college and go back to the NFL? Who do you think at this present time would be the better coach and why?
That's a great question. I probably would say Old Faithful because, I mean, what Vrabel is doing in New England is Old Faithful method.
True.
Old Faithful, I mean, when you look at the Empire, when you look at Belichick, they always compare him to what you saw with the Emperor Palpatine and Vader, how they ran everything strict to a T, that the whole galaxy was in fear of the Belichick method. I think that Dion correlates with younger players, while Belichick correlates with people who are trying to win in the pros. It may be strict, but we've seen 6 times that it's worked. And so it's not only worked 6 times in New England, but it worked 2 times in the Giants as a defensive coordinator. So I mean, he's had more success in the pros. And that the saying always it says, if it ain't broken, why fix it?
So let's play fantasy GM. Do you think that obviously we got to see how the Dolphins season shakes up? I think you got to move on from Mike McDaniels anyway, regardless of how he finishes up. Steelers are up and down, right? Would Mike Tomlin be a good fit for the Dolphins?
No, because my you need
You need
you don't want
offensive minded.
not even necessarily offensive mind. I think it's hard to get somebody who's blue collar to come and work in Miami. Blue collar doesn't fit a Miami area. You're gonna ask people to be blue collar in a place where all there is temptation. And that's the thing. You want somebody who's like homeboy is a poor man's Al Pacino from Any Given Sunday. That's the reason why he's there. It's just that they don't win. They don't win because his style doesn't work and he doesn't know how to coach men. So you need somebody who has a playful style. Like, you know what? Even though I said Prime will be good for college, Prime will be perfect for the Miami Dolphins because of his personality,
I can
because
see.
who he is. So he can coach that. So if Prime went to Miami and he was the head coach, he'll be the perfect fit.
Before we get out of here, man, this is episode 135.
Yeah, 135.
Episode 135. My bad, y'all, man. We've been doing this a long time. So, we got to stun on y'all real quick. Now I'm playing. But episode 135. And it's interesting, man, because you look at people like, hold on 1 second. So I got a chance. We didn't even talk about this. I worked on the Netflix weigh-in for Paul and Joshua. So that was interesting, man, being a part of that like circus, right? First of all, Anthony Joshua is a monster. Oh, remember we saw Julius Peppers in Vegas. So imagine somebody like 6'5", 6'6", like 260, 270. Solid, you know what I'm saying? And it got me to thinking, like, as you end up with, it's one thing when you like see it online, but when you're in the atmosphere, you get it. You get that people are excited about the spectacle, right? As a boxing purist, I don't support it, but my bank account supports, working on those situations. So some form of capitalism has to be involved in a situation. I know, that's trash. But I bring that up to say, like, is that the new wave? Because now it been announced that Tyson and Floyd Mayweather are fighting. And yeah, bro, it's official. And it's like, from a money standpoint, it's the most, you know what it's like? I'm gonna give you an example of what's happening. Imagine in basketball if it was a 3-on-3 tournament for the old heads. Like you get Karl Malone in there, Charles Barkley. And these cats could get millions of dollars. The millions of dollars they didn't make while playing. So it's hard to say, hey man, be a purist. I don't know what Mike Tyson's bills are, his overhead, We just assume these cats have money and that they care about the legacy like we do. I don't think that's the case. So where are you at with this whole fiasco, of the exhibition boxing?
Well, first, let's go to the context of what you just said. They say the average athlete, NBA, basketball, boxer, because they were so used to living a certain way, Their bill set is not the bill set, we were comfortable, but they're not paying $1 million mortgage or this of that nature. So for these guys, they're used to paying that and they can't downsize. So they need that money to keep it going. Not saying that Tyson is broke. I don't know. I'm not saying that, but just to get his situation going, maybe that's what he needs. It's good for the nostalgia. It's good for fighting, but these guys are old, man. I mean, I wouldn't if it was me, Prince, I would do what we see Jordan is doing, commentate. Do what we see Barkley is doing, talk about the game, maybe get a podcast. But to go out there and keep fighting, I don't know if your body can keep taking it. Let's just pray that he's in good shape because as the great Christian Bale said about playing Batman, he says if he would be big up, if he would get big again and buff again, he says his body couldn't take it. He think he would die. Because remember, he lost weight for the machinist. Then he gained weight for Batman. Then he lost weight for Fighter. Then he gained weight for The Dark Knight Rises. You can't keep playing with your body. And so my prayers go out to Tyson. I just hope that his body can keep taking. You're going down, you're going up. I hope you're still in that same shape because you have to get in fighter shape for this. And one thing that me and you both know, Floyd Mayweather stays in shape. So I just hope that he's okay.
That's 100, man. That's our show. Thank you for tuning in, man. We appreciate y'all. Hope y'all had a good holiday. We still in it, man. We still in the holiday season. More content to come. Hey, go check out our clips on YouTube too. We want to get this YouTube big and better. So continue to support. We love y'all and appreciate y'all. Prince and Barty, episode 135. We out of here.
Yeah, yeah.